We turn to waning Republican opposition to a sales tax that could affect your pocketbook. With more details, we go to Monica Langley in Nashville. Monica, thanks so much for joining us. Tell us what this waning opposition among Republican governors could mean for U.S. consumers.
The bottom line is they're going to start paying more for their online shopping. That's what's going to happen. It's happening right now in a few states, and by next year it'll be happening in a lot more states. And if Congress passes legislation either late this year or next year, it could be nationwide sooner rather than later.
And what does this also mean? This could bring at a time that, states and local governments are obviously suffering from budget deficits. This could potentially bring a windfall for these states. Tell us about the potential impact on state budgets.
That's right. Well, that's the whole reason the Republican governors now are shifting their position. Previously, they had stood against these state sales tax because they thought it sounded like a new tax, and that just wasn't something they were for. But with the budget-strapped states now, they see this as a tax that almost cost them nothing because the online retailers would start collecting it and would go into their coffers to the tune of about $23 billion a year.
Okay, but you did mention, obviously, these are Republicans who are joining some Democrats who've already supported this, and this is the use of the word tax. And even if it's seen as having, it's an easier tax than some, it still is a tax. So how are they going to politically manage this idea of Republicans supporting a tax on consumers?
That's right, and one of the big things that happened just a few weeks ago was New Jersey Governor Christie, also a potential vice president for Mitt Romney, came out and he cut a deal with Amazon.com to start collecting sales tax in his state. And given that he is so high profile and such a beloved figure by the right, that gave the window of opportunity for more Republicans to say, okay, if even Christie is doing this, it may be okay. And the argument, Jeanette, is that this will allow states, even Republicans, not to pick winners and losers. And they say that what they're doing is by letting Amazon and eBay and other online retailers not collect sales tax, that's been letting them let the online people be winners and their brick and mortar stores be losers because they were charging 5 to 10% more by virtue of the sales tax.
Right. So you've got bricks and mortar stores who really like this, right? Because they would see the online shoppers, the online stores, who would undercut them, even just by the virtue of not having the tax. So you've got big support for that among these kind of big box stores, right?
Totally. And they say they saw all this so-called showrooming. I talked to the vice president of Lowe's who said people would go in there and shop for blinds or appliances and pick out exactly what they want, turn around, walk out, and order it online to save the sales tax. And that got to be a big problem. So they've been pushing this for many years. And only right now, with Republican governors coming on board, do we see significant momentum so that the online sales tax is coming to the computer near you.
And when are we going to see it with kind of all of everybody's favorite online stores, eBay, Amazon? Are we going to see? You mentioned potentially within the next year. Does that mean I should, over the next couple of months, buy up as much as I can online while there's not the sales tax?
That would be a good idea. Now, but it depends on what state you're in.
Okay.
We have a chart in the Wall Street Journal today and online that shows which states already are collecting sales tax with Amazon and which ones will start next year with Amazon, because Amazon is growing so rapidly. They're having to put distribution centers in various states so they can deliver to you by next day or within a couple days. So Amazon is really driving this to give fast delivery to consumers. And so as it gets bigger, it is the one who is getting more physical presence. That's been the problem, Jeanette, with why the online retailers have been able to have this tax break for their consumers, is because there was a 1992 Supreme Court ruling that said unless an online retailer had a physical presence in the state could not require it to collect sales tax. Well, that was back in 92 when the internet was fledgling. Look at it now. It's more than a $200 billion a year sales.
Yeah, who could have
outlet.
imagined back then that many of my friends would have been buying, everything online at this point. Monica Langley in Nashville, thank you so much. And I know you're on vacation, so thank you so much for joining us and taking time out of your vacation to tell us about your story on the front page of the Wall Street Journal this morning. Thank you very much.